Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. I'm a minute late tonight because I always start at 7:58 and I'm a minute late, so I apologize. I hope everybody's doing well. Uh, so, uh, just so we know, we'll put it out here real quick before, if hopefully we don't have any issues. If there's any interruptions and stuff like that, I will get right back online. So please be patient, hang in there with me, and we will get there. And so, just putting that out there ahead of time, okay? So we're going to talk about the blame game a little bit. I got a lot of other things that I want to talk to you about as well, and I wanted to go over these things because I think that they're important. Okay, so we're going to discuss a couple different topics, and somebody's already doing eggs. Denise Gonzalez, you are jumping the gun. All right, so you got to hold on a second. Well, we'll do the eggs thing here in a little bit. So anyway, before we get started, I want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. Please be decent to each other in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you do, then my awesome moderators will boot you out of here. So just don't do it, and we don't have an issue. All right. So also, if you have a question, all cap lock so it stands out for me. All right. So that's going to be more helpful. So we will do that. All right, so we'll do the egg thing first to get it out of the way. So we got to do our egg count for today. I want to hear what everybody thinks our egg count was for chicken eggs today, and I will let you know who is right. And not that you win any prizes, but you get to be a winner for the right guess. So, all right. Okay, I'm looking at these guesses here. All right, so Karen Lemoyne, if you guessed exactly what Karen Lemoyne did, and I see a few people have, and said 10 eggs, then you are correct. 10 eggs was the right number today. So Bonnie Boyle also got 10, so there you go. So 10 eggs today is what we ended up with. Pretty low-key. It was it cooled down. It was nice earlier, and we had the sunshine was out and everything like that, and but then later in the day, it became overcast, and we had a little bit of sprinkles here, but nothing bad. Yeah, winter, chicken dinner. There you go. Hey, full of hope. Hold on 1 second. I have QT syndrome. Doctor, explain. Do you know? I do not. I have no idea. I would have to look that up. You could probably put that into Google search, and it'll give you some information on that. I have no idea what that is. Okay, yep. Robert Blakemore just said QT syndrome. We'll Google it. Yep, there you go. That's the best way to figure it out. And I'm sure I'll have a tremendous amount of information on that as well. So, as everybody saw today, I had my family was up here today, and my great nephews. Those are my sister's daughter's boys. So, yeah, so that makes me feel really, really old because now I am great Uncle Eddie. So, oh my goodness. But they had a blast. I'll tell you what, those boys will sleep good tonight, guaranteed. They were running around here like a couple of chickens with their head cut off. They were having a blast, and it was really cool to see. It was really, really cool to see, and I'm glad they were having fun. So, any plans for retention pond to control the flooding? Yes, JJ, I am going to be doing that down the road. I want to put a pond in, and I'm going to divert the water coming down off the hill to that pond. That is absolutely in the game plan, and I absolutely plan on doing that because, obviously it's an issue right now. I'm going to be having more fill dirt brought in too down the road here. Everything in time. Everything's going to take time, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But, we'll just kind of keep doing what we're doing. Yes. Okay. Captain Nobody. Yep. Canada's doing a gun grab. That's one of the things I was going to talk about. So we're going to get into the blame game a little bit, but we're going to talk about Canada first. Trudeau, in his ultimate wisdom, and most of the people in Canada want this. I call horse crap on that. That's my own opinion. They are putting in more restrictive gun legislation in Canada, that these guys up there now cannot own a Mini 14, an AR-15. So, maybe Trudeau doesn't understand that a lot of Canada is very remote, and that a lot of the Canadians that are out there and they're hunting and they're trying to protect themselves brown bear, which can be 1,500 pounds or more, and be 8 foot tall when they're standing on their back legs. If you don't have an equalizer, you are screwed. So it was that. It was a bunch of handguns and stuff like that as well, and there was some other weapons as well. But the two, obviously, that I saw right off the bat that stood out was the Mini 14 and the AR-15. And of course, he's saying these weapons are just designed to kill. There's such morons these people are. I can't believe people just listen to these politicians and just believe everything they say. Prepper Chris 1, just think that one day you will be able to just chill. Yeah, one day. It's all right. You know what? I like being busy. I don't mind doing stuff. And if the weather is decent, then I don't mind getting things done. I'm hoping that tomorrow we will get back to work on the woodshed, because the weather really this week has not cooperated much at all. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the case. It's like a 10% chance of rain tomorrow. So, but but anyway, so Trudeau's passing this stuff through, and disarming people once again. How are you supposed to be able to protect yourself? Because I want people to remember something. No matter what laws are put in place, okay, and it's not about guns. This is the problem, which people don't understand. It's about mental illness and mental sickness. And this guy, he was very calculated and very planned. He dressed up as a police officer, was pretending he was a police officer. He was seeking revenge, okay? People that are seeking revenge will find a way to do anything that they can do. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. If I wanted to, and if I had the right amount of money, I could drive down to Rochester, New York right now, and I could get anything that I wanted on the black market. That is always available. That's never going to go away. I don't care what kind of gun laws you put in. I don't care what kind of restrictions you put in. The criminal element will always be able to get what they want. That is a fact. Always going to happen, okay? Being a responsible gun owner, and most of the people that own guns are responsible gun owners, all this does is it hamstrings them. It stops them from being able to protect themselves, which is absolutely ridiculous. But, the government does not want people to have the means to protect themselves. You're right, exactly, James Osborne. And it will use BS and everything else to, justify or their agenda. See, the thing is, when the government wants to disarm you, always question why. What is their ulterior motive, which is obviously always going to be control, okay? That's what happens when a government tries to disarm you. And I'm going to tell you what, like right now, in the United States, there's too many people that are going to go, no, I don't think so. I think a lot more than people realize. Read Lady Kickboxer's post. What did she say? I missed. Okay. Hold on. Treatment consists of beta blockers. Treatment can involve medical devices, lifestyle changes, or medications, such as beta blockers. Okay. Thank you, Lady Kickboxer, for that information. But yeah, it's just the system is messed up, of course. It's always going to be about control, taking away your rights, taking away your choices to be able to do what you want, to be able to defend yourself. What are you going to do when the criminals break into your house armed, and they've already taken away your rights? And as a good citizen, only law-abiding people will give up their guns. That's sad. Exactly. You're right, Prepper Chris 1. And the ones that keep them will now become criminals. And, but again, it's like when somebody breaks into your house, they're not going to follow the rules, because obviously they're breaking into your house. But if they know that you are disarmed, they have no fear when they break into your house. When they know that, I'm going to tell you what, out in the country, and I've said this before, guys, and I'll say it again, out here in the country where I live, we have very, very few break-ins. Why? Because everybody's armed. Everybody out here is armed. So an armed society is a polite society. That's what I'm going to say about that. Anybody can have their right to believe whatever they want. Trudeau lives in a city row house. Exactly. So he's not out there dealing, with nature and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. But, and don't get me wrong, the 22 people that were killed up there, and it was one constable that was killed as well in that shooting that guy did. That's terrible. It's a horrible thing. But they need to look at the root of that stuff. Like, again, what I would want to know questions that I would have: what kind of medication was this individual on? What kind of, and I almost guarantee that he was on some kind of antidepressant. Almost guarantee it. And what happens when you go on antidepressants? Sometimes you have thoughts of what? Suicide or violent fantasies and all that type of stuff. It happens, guys. So, fill dirt, no worked, muddy waters. Actually, the fill dirt that we put in did definitely work. It's higher up, but there's still low spots that need more dirt. So, it's going to take time. We're going to get more fill in there. We're going to get that squared away. It's just, like I said, it's just going to take time. So, that's how that's going to go. So let's talk about real quick. We got a bunch of other stuff I want to get into here, but I want to talk about real quick, the blame game here that we're doing. All right. Now, and I want you guys to, let's look at the bigger picture of this. Hey, Prepper Chris 1, the more people get armed, the less this crap happens. Exactly. Because if you're able to defend yourself and some lunatic goes out there and starts shooting people, what happens? Law-abiding citizens will take that person out. That's what happens. When you have seconds and the police are minutes away. So think about that too, But anyway, I digress. So Trump is talking now, they're talking that they believe, wow, what a shock, that this originated in a lab in Wuhan, China, a level 4 containment lab. I've been saying that right along, right? So now they're talking about that. Now they're talking about responsibility and what is owed and all that type of stuff. So I want you to think about that, okay? Think about the money that has been lost just in this country alone. We're not even going to talk about any other country around the world. That every country's been affected, okay? Let's just talk about the United States. People not working, loss of jobs, the number of deaths, everything that's going on, the restrictive controls that are happening. I mean, you can't go out in public. I mean, especially New York. If you go out in public, you better have a mask on. If you can't social distance, I mean, yep. Prepper Chris 1, yep, exactly. Who else smells war coming? When the blame game starts and they start looking for a patsy, then what you got to do first of all, let's talk about that again, okay? So we're going to go back to the blame game real quick. When you are looking to have an enemy, you have to win public opinion, okay? So when you've had someone that you die from this virus that's affected you directly, which are a lot of people now, right? Because we have, 65,000 deaths now in the United States, I think we're up to. And